If you just picked up a new iPhone or recently updated your software, you probably noticed the camera app looks totally different. Apple's made it simpler and more user-friendly, but there's still a lot going on under the hood that we're gonna uncover today. In this video, I'm gonna walk you through some essential camera settings, then break down everything that's new in the updated camera app. Make sure to subscribe because I've got iPhone accessory reviews, sample shots, and pro tips coming your way. My name is Shai, let's jump right in. Alright, so let's go to settings and scroll up to camera. So I'm going to select camera, and under camera control system settings, I like selecting double click here because it activates the camera with a camera button here, and I don't accidentally hit it with just one click, so double click is nice. And something new here is this lock focus and exposure. And the nice thing about that is that if you shoot on Sony, Fuji, or an actual traditional camera, we all know when you press the shutter button halfway, it focuses on the subject. So now on an iPhone, you got something similar. So that's what the lock focus and exposure is. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to jump to formats and make sure you have here high efficiency under camera capture. Most compatible is great. However, high efficiency uses smaller file sizes, so we could always use a little more storage on our iPhones. And the good news is you're not sacrificing quality. Now for photo capture, under photo mode, 24 megapixels is a good amount. So it's always good to have it a little higher than 12. If you're going to crop a little later, it's always nice to have. And Pro RAW and resolution control, I like turning that on. And under Pro RAW format, when you are shooting RAW, I select lossy. Now, I know if I'm shooting something really important where I really want to manipulate it in post, I might pick most compatible. Last year, a lot of people were choosing lossless. It was a nice middle ground between quality and file size. But this year, I've been hearing a lot of people say that lossy and lossless, you don't notice much of a difference when you're editing in post, and the file size is much smaller. So again, saves us a little space. Now, under video capture, I like turning Apple ProRes on as well, setting it to log, and we all know what that's for. And if you don't, if you're going to color grade later in post, you want to shoot under log. Now let's look at a few other settings. I like having my grid on, my level on, so I can shoot my rule of thirds, and I can see if the photo is leveled. I don't mirror the front camera, and view outside the frame, I like to leave that off. I only like to see what I'm actually shooting, which is important for me. Now the Fusion camera, some people have this off. I like to leave it on because I like shooting in 28 and 35 millimeter. So if I were you, I would turn that on to give you more options. However, for default lens, I do like to select 24 millimeters, which is the 1x camera. So it'll shoot the highest quality and it's a nice focal length. Now, if we go back, I like portraits in photo mode on. So that way I don't have to toggle to portraits. I can just be on the regular photo and I can shoot in portrait. Lens correction, I like having that on so that if I shoot on the wide camera, I don't get that distorted look on there with a wide camera. Macro control, I like having that on as well so I can switch it back and forth. And lens cleaning hints, this is kind of cool. So this is new. If your lens is dirty, it'll give you a prompt that says it's dirty and you have to clean it up. So nice feature to have. That's one I might tell a bunch of my family members to use. I've been with family where they'll shoot kind of like these blurry photos and I'll realize they just need to clean their lens. So now Apple has a fix for that. So now we're going to jump into the actual camera app. And as you saw earlier, I double click here because I have that saved and it fires off my camera. So first off, I love the new interface. And the cool thing is it's so much more simple now. If you look at the bottom, it just has photo and video. Now, you don't lose all the other features. So if you actually press down and just swipe to the left, you still have time lapse, slow-mo, cinematic mode, video, photo, portrait, spatial video, and panoramic. I'm going to go back to photo for now. Let's look at what we got here, and then I'll jump to video afterwards. So under photo, let's start at the top. See that EV minus 0.3? If you select that, you can select the exposure here. Now, we all know with smartphones, they tend to boost the exposure, do all sorts of things on the background. I tend to leave it at 0.03, minus 0.03. Some people do it to 7, even as low as minus 1 on exposure. I leave it at about 0.3, 0.7. And if we get out of that, if you click the HEIC, which is that high efficiency button, Now it's cool because you can just easily toggle here. So I normally have it defaulted here. So if I'm just taking normal pictures of friends, family, it's not taking that much space in terms of file storage. Now, if I want to shoot something that I'm going to edit later, I want to put on my website, on social media, maybe in a photography book, then I'll toggle to RAW and I'll jump to 48 megapixels. Now you can, choose differently here with RAW and 12 megapixels. So just to let you know, you can kind of toggle around here. But again, for default, I'll leave it at high efficiency, 24 megapixels. Now on the upper right here, you'll notice that there's 6 dots there. And if you hit those 6 dots, you'll see what options you got here. So you can turn the flash on and off or have it on auto here. You can turn live photos on and off as well, or automatic. And then you can turn the timer on and you can choose 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. And then if you want to toggle back, hit those 6 dots again. You can set exposure here as well. But as you saw, you can just click it real quick on the upper left. And then you got your photographic styles. You might be a Fuji fan and you want to get those cool looking colors. So you can go to photographic styles here. I tend to just leave it on standard because I do so much editing in post anyway. And then let's click those 6 dots again. And you can change the aspect ratio here. You can do 16:9. You can do 1:1 or 4:3. I like to leave it on 4:3. As many will tell you, that's where you'll get the most information and quality from the photo. You don't want to digitally crop in by going by 1:1 or 16:9. So leave it at 4:3 and just crop in later so you have the highest quality. And then night mode, you can toggle it on. You can have it, at the different levels, or you can toggle it off. Now keep in mind, that won't always show up. It'll just show up if it's dark. Now I obviously have the phone, with the camera covered, so it's registering that it's dark. But if it was super bright, that night mode won't show on there, just in case you didn't know that. So that's kind of cool with how the camera app works. And if you'll notice here for your cameras, you still have the 0.5, 1, where you can toggle between 24 millimeters, 35 millimeters, and back to 24, which is 1x. And then on the newer cameras, like the iPhone 17 Pro, you can jump to 2 times zoom, 4 times zoom, and 8 times zoom. On the previous Pro, the 16 Pro, you can go up to 1, 2, and then 5. Here you got 1, 2, 4, and 8. I'd stick between 0.5 and 4, so you got the highest quality camera. If you jump to 8 and you press here, you could actually do a digital zoom, not an optical zoom, up to 40 times zoom. Now, it does jump down to 12 megapixels, so keep that in mind, not the highest quality, but if you needed to zoom in, at least you got that option. So that's how our camera works now with the new interface here. Now I'm going to jump to video now. And you have the same amount of zooming with your cameras down here below. Now, if you want to change the upper right here, your resolution and frame rate, the nice thing is it's so easy to get there as well. So I normally have it defaulted to ProRes off, 4K at 30, or sometimes HD if I'm just shooting simple stuff with, again, friends and family. But once I want to increase the quality size for something I might use on YouTube or social media, I might bump it to 4K. And if I really want to shoot something professional, I can just hit log or HDR. And if I also want to shoot in slow-mo, 60 frames per second or 120, I can choose there. But remember, if you're shooting log or HDR, you do need an external storage device. So you can plug that in here at the bottom, and it does remind you of that here on the phone. Now on the upper right, similar to photos, you can hit those 6 dots, and then you can see what options we have here. So you can turn on and off the flash. You can manipulate the exposure like you did with photos. But something that's new now is that photo capture button. So when you hit there, you can actually shoot the actual footage of yourself and what you're shooting in front of you. Now, the cool thing is you can actually move this to the left, to the bottom, to the right. So you got some options to do some perspective shots here and shoot you responding perhaps to something on your video. Pretty cool feature to have. Now I'm going to jump back to photo and I'm going to flip the camera. And now we can see here that you have your normal selfie camera. And before, if you wanted to shoot in landscape, you just moved it sideways. And it kind of looks weird because the way your arm looks. But now what's cool is if you hit this button right here, you can stay in vertical mode, holding it vertically, and then it's going to jump to a wide angle camera here. And then if you look on the upper right, you'll see that center stage. And if you put auto zoom on, if there were more people behind me, it would literally compensate for that and go a little wider and focus in all the people in the frame here, which is kind of cool. And if I did want to go a little bit closer, you hit this button here or a little wider there. And of course you can hit it, that F right there, and shoot in portrait mode, and you can blur out the background a little bit. And you can also select what type of portrait mode you want to shoot in. So super cool. And then when you're in video, you can do the same, toggle between vertical and horizontal view. You have your same settings here on the upper left, same settings on the upper right for video. So overall, some cool new features that we got on this iPhone. Thanks for watching today. I hope this video helped you get a better understanding of the new iPhone camera app. There's a lot more coming, accessory reviews, photo and video samples, and tips to level up your iPhone content creation. So smash that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, stick around, and I'll see you on the next video.